So the Los Angeles Lakers, they officially made the playoffs last night, beating the Minnesota Timberwolves in the play-in tournament. They will be playing the Memphis Grizzlies in the first round, which in my opinion should be a pretty interesting first round matchup, with Ja, Desmond Bane, Jaren Jackson Jr., all those guys on the Memphis Grizzlies versus LeBron James, AD, D'Lo, all those guys on the Lakers. So pretty fun matchup right there for the Lakers. This is a great feeling for them as, after the trade deadline, making all those roster, changes to the team. I think they definitely got a lot better and, making the playoffs with this newly acquired team, I think it definitely is something, to be pretty proud of for the team. So, yeah, we'll go into the video talking about the Lakers and, just breaking down what's the postseason going to be looking like, what the playoffs are going to be looking like, their ceiling, their floor, and what, the matchup against the Grizzlies is going to be looking like. So we'll get into it here pretty quickly. So initially at the beginning of the season, the Lakers weren't really having the best season. They weren't really looking too hot. AD had a lot of injuries, I want to say. A lot of just ankle injuries, which, definitely is pretty, I wouldn't say not surprising for him now that he's been having, those type of injuries in his career. And then LeBron went down with an injury in February, but came back recently. So, having both those guys healthy before the playoffs is great for them. And just really, I think, AD and LeBron, they're really just the majority of what they bring to the Lakers and what the Lakers are as a whole. So looking at the trade deadline and what they got, they received pieces that would end up to be pretty valuable for them. D'Lo, Malik Beasley, Mo Bamba I would say in his restricted minutes has definitely been, on and off and would definitely provide some good backup center minutes, Vanderbilt, but yeah, all the pieces they got were pretty good for them. And while all this went on, they still kept their pick in 2025. They did trade their 2027 pick and in that Russell Westbrook trade to the Clippers, I think. So, yeah, they don't have their 2027, but they do have their 2025, which should be pretty valuable. So, yeah, I've already talked about all the pieces they got. D'Lo, Malik Beasley, and Vanderbilt. I've talked about them all in previous videos, so if you guys want to check that out, it's on the channel. But just to summarize it, D'Lo, basically the facilitator that they need that can space the floor. Beasley being a clutch shooter that can get hot at pretty much any point in the game. And then Vanderbilt being a good defender, playing that rough defense. So, yeah, we'll get on to how the Lakers can succeed in the playoffs. I think some things need to happen. First and foremost, the bench unit needs to produce some type of offense and even defense. We saw this last night when LeBron and AD aren't on the floor. The offense gets stagnated. With Schroeder, I know he was pretty good for them, and I think, Schroeder, he did a pretty good job as the backup point guard, or even when D'Lo was pretty much off the whole game. But regardless, they do need some offensive output from guys like Austin Reeves off the bench. I just think that what they have right now is definitely not enough, and I think they need to play guys like Mo Bamba and Winning Gabriel, because when they had Cat on the floor, no one can mark him. I don't even think Winning Gabriel could even mark him. So yeah, having a guy that can defend the interior on a guy like Cat would definitely help them a lot more. And like I said, even defense was pretty much starting to crumble without AD and LeBron on the floor. So yeah, the Lakers, if they want to win consistently, they'll need production from guys like Schroeder, who was big for them. Like I said, off the bench, had a clutch 3-2, send it to overtime, and guys like, I think, Troy Brown Jr., Austin Reeves, both combined for majority of their perimeter shooting. Mo Bamba, like I said, I think he has a lot of potential as a guy that can play the backup center to AD. So yeah, in terms of other things, I think LeBron and AD, they can't get into foul trouble down in the fourth. They need either of them or one of them to be good, and I think they'll be fine for the rest of the game. But last night we saw this. AD was almost in foul trouble. LeBron had 5 fouls. So if they do both get into foul trouble, that's not really good for them, because they pretty much make up majority of the Lakers offense and defense. So if either one of them are out, and even both of them are out, I think they might be in a little bit of trouble. But at least if they have LeBron or AD, one of them, I think they should be pretty good. So yeah, finally, I want to talk about the coaching. So I've heard some mixed reviews on Darvin Ham. I think he's definitely, I would say, more or less an okay coach, nothing too amazing. I know definitely Lakers fans don't really like Darvin Ham. Definitely, initially when I thought the Lakers signed him, I definitely thought it was a pretty okay signing, but we'll see what happens. I think Darvin Ham needs to be a competent coach in the playoffs. I think he definitely needs to be a guy that won't take out or won't use pointless timeouts, won't use the challenges riskily or on the risk, basically. So I think, Darvin Ham might be another big key for the Lakers to win this postseason. So yeah, those are my 3 reasons why the Lakers could, be a big time team in this offseason or in this postseason. Now, in terms of the floor and the ceiling, Floor, I definitely have them as, first round exits. It depends on injuries, like I said, but also guys like, I mean, if LeBron goes down, AD goes down, I mean, we're pretty much done. So, yeah, injuries are going to be a huge thing, but I think the ceiling definitely would be the Western Conference Finals. I think they definitely could, considering everything goes right, considering that D'Lo plays well, Malik shoots pretty well from three, Vanderbilt doesn't get injured and plays some great defense, and off the bench you get production from Schroeder, Austin Reeves, and even guys like Troy Brown Jr., Wenning Gabriel. I think this team should definitely be pretty good. I mean, I haven't even mentioned Rui Hachimura too, who I know Lakers fans were pretty high on, and I think he definitely has a lot of potential as, a starting small forward or starting power forward if LeBron does retire. So yeah, I mean, the Lakers, they do have a good mix of young pieces too. Austin Reeves, I know he's going to demand a lot of money in free agency, so we'll see what happens with him if they do match a contract, because he is going to be a restricted free agent. But they do have a good mix of young guys. I think Vanderbilt's still pretty young. Malik Beasley, obviously Mo Bamba if they do decide to keep him, Rui Hachimura and Austin Reeves. So yeah, I mean, the Lakers, well, to wrap it up, basically, I'll predict my matchup with the Grizzlies. So the Grizzlies, they are one of the top teams in the West, but in my eyes, they're definitely an overrated team. They are missing Steven Adams, so we'll see what happens with that and the starting center position. I know Xavier Tillman might play that, but I mean, the Grizzlies, they're a good team, but I think I got the Lakers in 6, which I think is definitely possible. 6 or 7 games, I think that might go. Max 7 games, I think max 7 games, but definitely 6 or 7. So yeah, the matchups, I think they're also pretty interesting. D'Lo versus Ja, LeBron versus Dylan Brooks, or JJJ versus LeBron James, Dylan Brooks versus Jared Vanderbilt. I think AD should be a really big factor in the matchup against the Memphis Grizzlies. With no real center guarding AD, I think he should be able to thrive. The only real thing I see with AD is that he hasn't been aggressive enough in the post. So I think, if they do try to go to AD more in the post, they definitely should be fine. So yeah, you guys can let me know what you guys think about the Los Angeles Lakers. They're definitely a team to watch out for in the postseason. They definitely have a good thing going for them right now. With LeBron in his, I want to say 20th season. So yeah, we'll see what happens with the Lakers. That's the end.